What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Screenwork Entertainment.
Today we are going to be going over The Last of Us episode 2. I thought it was awesome. Really.
This is quickly, honestly, I think this is going to be the best show of 2023. I really do. It's that good.
I agree, but I don't want to.
It is that good.
I don't want to lock it in as the best because I don't know what's going to come. I mean, we're going to get to season 2 of House of Dragons, so I don't want to sit there and be like, it's the best.
It's not going to be out this year, though.
It's not?
No, they're saying 2 years. The reason why I say that is this is the first show I've ever seen, movie, show, anything, that has followed the source material so well. And not only that, expands on it, makes it better, shows you the back history. So this episode starts off, I think 2003, where we see how it starts. We don't get that in the game. We don't get that.
Well, because in a lot of it, they wanted to keep the infection in America, but they wanted to let the audience know that it wasn't just America, that it's a worldwide thing. And I feel like that's why they did the scene like that, where they showed us in the beginning where it originated in Indonesia and it spread throughout the, world. But
how it spread, right?
I mean, by them biting people?
No, but the flour and the grain because that in Indonesia, that's the biggest plant in the world. Like in real life, it's the biggest plant in the world that produces more flour than anywhere else in the world. And the spores were in the flour, and whenever they get shipped off, that's why in the first episode we see Sarah and Joel, they're eating food, and Joel is upset because he wanted pancakes, but instead they're eating bacon and eggs, no carbs, right? Because all the carbs all got this fungi in it, just like the couple, the neighbor.
Yeah, that's why he was feeding that. It looked like biscuits and cream of wheat.
Yeah, flour.
Exactly.
Just like the other old lady who's trying to give Sarah the cookies. She's like, "Are those chocolate chip? No, these are raisins." She's like, "Oh, peace out."
Yeah,
they were just completely dodging right and left of all this stuff that's against just pure luck that they didn't eat any of that stuff.
I didn't know that's how it started.
Yeah, I didn't. This is why I said this show really explains how it started, which I loved. Yeah, there's so many shows who could take from this show how to do it right.
I agree.
Opinion. I mean, they're doing a great job. There's the opening of this show. There's so many throwbacks to the game. I couldn't believe it. Like I couldn't believe it.
I think it was really cool when she was telling him like when the army was like, well, what do we do? And she was like, bomb. You need to bomb the city.
Yeah.
You need to bomb everyone in it. And like she just basically gave them what they needed to hear. Basically, they knew what they needed to do, but she just confirmed what they needed to do.
Yeah.
And then she was just like, I'm gonna die. Like I gotta go see my family. Like me and my family are done for. I'm gonna go spend as much time with them as possible. And like it's just that realization factor of everything setting in so quick, like just everything's over, just like that. They really do a great job on capturing that.
Yeah, they do. I mean, you're right. That whole opening had me captivated. My eyes were glued to the television. It really was.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I love this show.
And then after that, we open up with Ellie sleeping. Like this is the different part that like in the game they fight through the night. Is what I've heard. I haven't played the game, but what I've heard, they fight through the night. But in the show, they have to have a stopping and starting point. And, we left on the last episode at night with them going into the city. And then it opens. We start this next episode where it's daylight, which I thought was really cool because when Ellie wakes up, Ellie's just like, what's going on, And then she looks over and Joel and Tess are like on edge, like ready to shoot, like
because they don't know if she's gonna turn or
exactly.
So.
And that was a really great scene. It
was. You did the light shining down on her, see all that green.
Oh yeah,
and that was a pretty close shot as well from the video game. That whole shot. So whenever they first get into that building that's underwater or like like a flooded, not underwater, it's like flooded. That's also straight from the game almost. Straight from the game. it's crazy. I can't believe how much they took from the game and ran with it. Like I love it. I am just I can't speak highly enough of it.
So like I really enjoyed the city, the way that they made the city look. Like even Ellie said when she was on one of the buildings, she's like, "This is so beautiful," and it looks like a mess. Like everything just looks like a disaster. But they did a really good job of being able to make the city look extremely pretty at the same time. Like it's a balance between the two, you know, of it looking so destructive, but there's so much growth on everything. It's really cool how you can mend those two together because you know, beauty and destruction are supposed to be like two separate things. They're not supposed to be able to combine well, and they did such a good job of being able to combine the two. You don't get that in very many shows. You really don't, to where they can take two really hard things and combine them and make it look amazing. You know, it was just incredible to me.
Yeah, and another thing they don't or they expand upon or is new from the show compared to the game is the whole hive mind thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's not in the game either, and that is pretty cool.
Well, it just
Pretty cool concept.
It just goes to show how much detail and attention that they have spent on the infection, and what can they do with this infection? What cool things can we get out of this concept? And I really feel like that they exploited it the best way possible, and they got as much, you know, detail as they could out of it. I think they really did a great job of being able to exploit the whole fungus infection, because it's a new kind of infection in terms of the whole zombie,
Yeah.
you know, concept.
And speaking of that, what do you think about our first clicker?
Those things look so awesome.
Didn't all look sick?
It looked
Wow.
like, I don't know if you've ever seen like kind of like a lion's mane mushroom. Like it just, their faces look like mushrooms. Like
Because basically it takes half of their head, turns into like basically a mushroom, and they can't see. It's just they use that clicking noise. But that whole scene with the two clickers and them in that area, that's also ripped like straight from the game. Straight from the game. And they look just like they did in the game, the way they moved. Wow. Because I remember how terrified I died probably 100 times in that scene in the game. Because it's so hard. Especially when you never played it before. Those things are a one-hit kill. Hit you one time, you're dead. Those things, those clickers. So that's how strong they are. And watching this scene play out, I couldn't even breathe. It was that good. It was that.
Well, see, I didn't realize how strong, because it wasn't that crazy to me, because I was like, just shoot them in the head, you're good. Like I didn't know that they were supposed to be that strong.
Yeah, even in the game, there's really only a couple ways to kill them.
They're not that. They didn't look that special. It's like normal freaking zombies. They just shoot them in the head and be done. Like my thing is, what I understood about it is the fact that it's hard. They're moving so fast, it's hard to get a headshot on them. Which I can get that. I get that, but I just don't see them as that dangerous. I feel like there's something later on that they're going to show more
There is.
special infected.
And they teased it in this episode.
Exactly. When they were like, when they showed the dead body.
No. Whenever they're walking and talking, and Ellie's talking about something that uses gas.
Yeah, like throwing spores on people or whatever.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say what the name of it is, but yeah, I love that scene in the game. The way to kill the clickers is with the shiv to the head. You have to shiv them in the head, but you have to time it just right. And that scene was awesome. I was on my edge of my feet, and edge of my seat. I knew this is where Tess was going to get, because this is where she gets hurt as well.
But it doesn't show it.
Yeah, of course it doesn't show it, because but you see it in her eyes. You see it in her mannerisms, how she's acting, how she's talking now. So whenever they get out of that area and they're on the roof and they're looking at that building with the gold, that's straight out of the game as well. The dialogue straight out of the game.
What Tess does for Joel, she helps him see that hope that he has lost.
True. Yeah. Wasn't for her.
And it was really cool to see that whole mom instinct come out of Tess, you know, and the chemistry between Joel and Tess is so. I feel like it really helps Joel, even as an actor.
But what you're talking about is, I agree with you. and whenever we see her death, it makes even more impact because you don't think she's gonna die, especially this early.
And this early, I did
You
not.
know,
Man. I was like, dang.
Same thing in the game. I was like, oh my god, she's gone.
Well, and it kind of hinted in this episode when Joe was like, "We got to turn back. Like, we got to go now. Like, it's not going to end well." He says it right there.
Yeah.
This is not going to. He knows that they're gonna run into some bad luck here shortly. So they make it to that hospital, and they find everyone dead because they got infected. Well, it was the healthy trying to help the sick.
Well, in the game, it was bandits.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's that. Well, it's not so bad, but in the show, it's the fireflies, and it was the sick trying to, or the healthy trying to help the sick, and they all ended up getting infected, so they just killed themselves. And one of them doesn't die, and when I thought was really interesting is when Joel shoots him in the head. Vines, like little, like the things of the mushroom starts crawling around their fingers. It was like the nerve.
Yeah, it looks just looked gross.
Exactly. It's like the nerve endings of the spores or of the mushrooms, and it let the other infected know that, hey, we have living people here, you know.
Yeah.
And so this is where Tess reveals that, hey, you know, I'm infected, and I thought it was really interesting to see when Tess shows Joel, when Joel's like, hey, I need to see it, and she shows him, Tess walks forward a little bit to Joel, and Joel flinches back. That wasn't even scripted. That wasn't even supposed to happen. And what the directors said when they were doing this show, they told all the actors, hey, do not look up this game. Don't look anything up to this story. We want you to going into the story doing it the way that you're going to do it. We don't want you trying to copy the characters from the game or any of that. We want you to do it organically. And I really felt like that was such a good scene. Like, it was so good. When he flinches back like that, you could just tell that he's so scarred from the infection that all these years of dealing with it, he is terrified, but he doesn't show it. He doesn't physically show it, but you can see it in his mannerisms. And it was just superb acting.
Yeah.
It really was.
That whole scene was awesome.
Oh, incredible. So Joel has to make a quick call after Tess talks to him, and he dips out. I don't even think they say bye. Honestly, it was
Ellie's screaming. You know, she doesn't want. I don't want to go with you, and he just drags her off, and because he knows it's gonna be painful.
It's like an instinct. He doesn't even do it consciously. He just does it because, like, this is like instilled in his brain now. The infected break in, and Tess, a lot of them run by Tess, and at first I was like, is she infected so they just don't care? And then, like, it pans over to one being like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, I know.
And then it goes to Tess and like basically like kisses her, but it was in a romantically weird, the way that the camera pans close in, it's almost romantic in a really messed up way. Like, it really is. Like, it makes you feel weird. You know, it doesn't make you feel right, because it's like, this is not supposed to happen. Like, this.
Yeah.
And just, you can almost imagine what it would be like to feel that stuff climbing down your throat.
I couldn't imagine.
Oh, it's weird. So weird.
Yeah, that's horrible. Thinking about it's horrible.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They did a great job. They made you feel what Tess is feeling.
Yeah, they made me feel like I'm something crawling on me.
Exactly. That is great directing right there.
It
That
is.
is great.
That's great. Exactly.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, in nick of time, she gets that lighter off and kaboom.
Yeah, because it shows a chart in the first episode. If you're bitten on the neck, it's like 12 minutes or something like that. And then if you're bitten below that, it's like an hour. And if you're bitten on the ankle, it's 12 to 24 hours. It doesn't tell you how fast you get infected if it makes out with you.
Exactly.
So I'm curious how fast she would have turned.
Exactly. Did you watch the trailer for next episode?
I did not.
We get to see a new character, which is awesome. Spoilers. His name is Bill, and he's awesome. And I'm looking forward to it.
Is it old dude?
Older. It's about Joel's age.
We give this episode a 10 out of 10. It was phenomenal. Loved every bit of it. From the scenes to the acting to the story. It's just 10 out of 10. Superb.
Yes, the clickers. I couldn't have asked for them to look any better than that. And I can't wait to see the next big thing we see in this show. I'm not going to spoil it, but stay tuned. Next week, we will be covering the next episode as well. And we appreciate you guys watching.
Peace.
Have a great night.